to try to get into the player's shoes.
I think threats is much better if you actually get towards the target near. You get the chains off and you get more attacks on because you get better attack speed. Phase gives you more chasing power and more damage, so your slide does more. Overall, I would actually think that the phase is actually much better at fighting. If you constantly fight and keep chasing your targets, phase gives you more mobility and damage-wise, but threats is more stats-wise. You know, some players think that the enemy has co-op use maybe Lina, a lot of bursty type of lineups. You want to have the strength threats, so that could be one of the reasons that the players prefer the threats over the phase.
All right, well, we're about to find out if maybe we get to see another Ember in the next game. Draft is ready, ladies and gentlemen, between Evil Geniuses and eHome. eHome really looking for that 2-0, but at the very least, if they draw, they're tied with Newbie in the groups. Not a bad place to be. And EG kicking things off with a Gyro and Dazzleman. Once again, just going for maybe a little bit more specific fans. Of course, Gyro pretty common, but Dazzle has been on the rise. Not every team prioritizing Dazzle so high yet.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Evil Genius is going to open up with. We've seen some interesting openings today, and I think EG's this is their first game today. So let's see what they picked up from the previous game. Because I mean, I'm going to assume that they studied their opponent properly.
I would feel it's Naga just because that's what they use versus Hot 6, and I think eHome is another team that they haven't been able to play against. I'm not sure about in the scrim environment, but in an official environment, Naga is like a very safe pick for an unknown team because you can out-late game them and you can out-team fight them with them.
Well, eHome thought the same, so they
eHome saying, we saw what happened, we're going to ban that out.
Does make sure that Shadowfeed makes it through, though, as compared to the previous games we've seen today. Obviously, yesterday was a bit different.
Yeah, I'm wondering if eHome will pick this up. Like, that's something we've discussed so many times, and every time we think of it one way, we're like, all right, well, should they prioritize Shadow Fiend? And then they don't pick it, and then we get used to that. We're like, well, no one's really been picking Shadow Fiend on the Radiant side. And some teams are like, no, actually, we still like it. Like, Navi, of course, still prioritizing that quite heavily.
I mean, it really shows that every team has their own priorities, and there's not really like a particular reason that Shadow Fiend must be picked on Radiant at all times. Like, it depends on what you want and what trade-offs you get. Like for EG, probably they feel that we have the co-op, so we're not really that worried about Shadow Fiend becoming too big on the Radiant side. Since we have lane pressure on our side, we could deal with the Shadow Fiend.
eHome also likes to pick up Lina, by the way, against for CTY. So that would in this case probably be up against the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, he's a very lane-dominating type of player. His team likes to give him a matchup where the matchup does well for him, so he can actually snowball from there and do a lot for his team.
Leon is taking a lot of time, and first picking a Razor. Haven't seen Razor show up so early yet, at least in the matches on Arsenal. Oftentimes kind of just an afterthought to round out a team, to have someone that can stand in the front lines a little bit more than the other heroes they have.
And he's going to be, if they were to put Razor versus Quap, Razor definitely has a good matchup in that regard as well. But I guess apart from Secret, we haven't seen many mid-Razors in general from the other teams apart. Yeah, only Secret does that on a more consistent basis.
Well, they have also played Queen of Pain on Fear yesterday, actually, versus Hot 6. And other games they had, I think it was Sumail on Windranger. So no, I'm a fan of Windranger. I like seeing her. But I haven't seen her being as successful yet, apart from yesterday when Sumail was playing her. And I'm really just curious about hearing your opinion about that. Maybe.
Windranger it's a strange hero because Shackle is like it's great if you can hit it. It's terrible if you can. It's
unreliable.
It's super.
A lot of
unreliable.
skills are great if you can hit it. It's terrible if you can't. But.
Well,
Ravage is
right. But obviously,
but they usually, I think that game they had a song on a siren to somewhat shut up for the Shackle shot. But I think that hero is actually really really good at scaling through the late game and. People used to go mech and 4-step, and I think that build is heavily outdated. But she's extremely good at just bursting down BKB targets and also taking down Roshan, taking down towers. And it is a very suitable hero for Sumail. It just seems like a lot of teams have trouble like finding farm with her, just because she is not your ideal 6-slot hero because she gets hard countered by MKB. But at the same time, she can fight very very often. But you just have to make sure you don't lose out on farm with her. And EG is a very efficient team, so I think it suits their playstyle.
And would that be like more of a last pick kind of hero, or is it okay to pick it like third, fourth?
It's okay to pick it third or fourth if you're not like 100% set on the opponent knowing where you're going to put it. I think like Universe plays it occasionally, but I think it's okay, third or fourth.
Okay.
All right. Well, Tusk has slipped through, and Bounty Hunter being in favor over Tusk here for Evil Geniuses. So that's still available. We'll see if maybe one of the teams still decides to ban it out here in the second phase. Rubik also being banned out by EG.
eHome also runs Bloodseeker a fair amount versus versus mids that like Queen of Pain and Viper, which is a little bit atypical just because Bloodseeker is viewed as like sometimes as a weak melee hero, but he actually stands up very, very well versus the heavy harass from these range heroes, the heavy poison damage with Poor Man's Shield, as well as just being able to last hit very well mid, which is why I think they give the CTY very often. If you're really, really good at last hitting in your lane, Bloodseeker is just godlike because you're almost invulnerable to any sort of harass.
Yeah, it's a very good lane dominator, like what I mentioned before. His characteristics as a mid player itself, like he definitely likes to roll over the opponent by just out laning and out farming him, like the opposition. So that definitely is a very good way of utilizing what they have on CTY.
I'm curious if you're going to see a Witch Doctor this game. So far, DDC has been kind of countered. Both Dazzle, that he's played in most of the games, banned out, as well as the Rubik. I wouldn't mind seeing him on the Witch Doctor. So far, it seems to fit.
Yeah, it might actually be that case because they ban out Wyvern. It means that they want to go for maybe very heavy physical damage type of lineup.
Undying made it through.
Yeah, Undying makes it through and does get picked up. Yeah, I mean, now just given that we have so many heroes with the high priority, we always kind of slip by one of them, and they do show up again. What do you make of the PL ban? I mean, we saw, especially during the wildcard plans, we saw a lot of PL being picked and banned. Then not so much here as we entered the group stage.
Might actually mean that they want to go 5-man thick towers. They have Razor plus Undying now, and they do not want to deal with like split push. But of course, there's still anti-mage. There's still like maybe even a Tinker that EG occasionally picks up to deal with 5-man. But the other reason will probably be because PL is one of the, I would say, better heroes. Like you can doppelganger in a fight to kill the Tombstone, like to focus it easier. That might be the reason as well.
Okay.
But it's clear eHome want to fight now. They want to take the fight to EG, take towers, take objectives, and group up.
Now, I'm not sure if this game was on the main stream yesterday. EG Gaming with a Enchantress offlane.
It was, right?
Yeah.
How situational is that? Because how will it fit? Can it fit into this lineup? If Razor is safe lane, then maybe.
It was a max untouchable one, and versus certain heroes, it is very situational. First of all,
it's more based on the supports that the opponent have, right?
She has to be able to out harass them. She is actually very mobile. She has a very high move speed at level 1. And if you have a Train Protector, she's certainly a lot better.
I mean, having the ice armor this game against the physical damage is definitely very, very
saw
helpful.
this from.
It was
Cloud9.
with Cloud9. Cloud9 today.
Misery played Lich. They won that game as well, I believe.
Right.
Can't forget against who, though.
So they're going to have a very good dual lane with the Lich. I'm not really sure what they're going to pair it with.
Well, talking about fighting, eHome going with the Spirit Breaker and Storm Spirit.
Yeah, it's the classic bounty storm that EG likes to use a lot, and they're going back towards the Queen of Pain on Fear, I want to say, but at the same time I'm thinking if they have Lich, they could possibly lane Lich plus Queen of Pain as your dual lane on the off lane. That lane will be able to pressure, I think, a lot as well if it's a Razor on a safe lane or a Bloodseeker on a safe lane. So that might be a route that EG would want to go for. There are options basically right now for them.
And they put Storm top and still have something.
I mean,
else
Storm mid, I guess. But then again, the Bounty Hunter earlier would actually mean that the Lich can also go with the Bounty Hunter as a dual lane too. So there are definitely a lot of options that EG can go for right now.
eHome quite a few options as well. Undying Spirit Breaker.
This is
off-lane.
the CDEC favorite.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we talked about it so much on Sunday during the wildcard plans, and then it's been some time since we've seen that combo come out. But
Unkillable, or at least very difficult to kill.
yes,
Let's put it that way.
Durable, very durable.
Very durable indeed. Disruptor's the last man from EG. Tusk does make it all the way through, and eHome are just taking that out of the pool. Not taking chances right there. So, is eHome lacking anything distinctly, given their plan?
Fighting support with hopefully a disable, maybe.
How about Shadow Shaman? Because I feel like they're also lacking some push.
Yeah, something that fits the lineup, which in the sense that you want to push and take towers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think EG's team fight is actually a little bit weak right now. Storm, not the best. Bounty Hunter is okay. Lich is only good if you have a lot of wave clear. I think that eHome can heavy commit to 5-man pushes, and EG might be in a little bit of trouble just because they don't have a good delay tactic or super reliable late game carry. I think if eHome commits to another team fight pusher sort of thing, they need something like Phoenix or even the Stable Clockwork I think is fine with them.
Right on. I mean, if eHome goes with the Shadow Shaman, we saw this similarly yesterday, right? That's going to spell some trouble if he has to just start splitting and then Storm shows up, Bounty shows up. It sounded like it might be some trouble, but they're going to go with Lion.
Yeah, it's very directed towards the Storm. You want to have a disable that you can actually reliably use on the Storm all the time when he jumps around. And we always talk about, okay, then you have a Lion. The lane is bad. But in the game right now, eHome has a core that is very good in the laning phase, which is the Razor, their carry. So that sort of balances out that Lion is very weak in the lane. So I could actually see that the Lion having a good time pulling, getting levels, and later on get a dagger to counteract the Storm Spray in the team fights.
Okay. What about for EG then? You guys discussed it briefly. You do seem to be lacking in the department of really having a solid team fight overall.
I'm surprised Clockwork is still in the pool because I think it'd be pretty good. And Universe's Clockwork is very strong.
Yeah, but they are all durable targets except
True.
the Lion. So